Okay, let's talk about crypto. It's one of the most talked about things on the planet, right? But it's surrounded by so much noise, so much hype, and honestly, a ton of confusion. So today, we're going to cut right through all of that. My goal here isn't to tell you what to buy or what not to buy. Nope. It's to give you something way more valuable. Pure, simple understanding. So, you ready? Let's dive in. Think about this for a second. Right now, as you're listening to my voice, someone somewhere in the world is making a profit in crypto. They made a smart, calculated move, and it's paying off for them. And at that exact same second, someone else is losing money. I mean, losing it badly. Maybe they chased some crazy rumor or just made a decision based on emotion. The stakes here, they're incredibly high. So what's the difference between the person winning and the person losing? Well, a lot of the time, it boils down to just one thing: understanding. Some people will tell you crypto is a total scam. Others will say it's a get-rich-quick lottery ticket. The truth? Most people have really strong opinions about it without actually knowing what it is. We're here to fix that right now. All right, so let's start at square one. What even is cryptocurrency? Forget all the complicated tech speak you've heard. The core idea is actually super simple. That's basically it. It's digital money. Money that was built specifically for the internet. You can't hold a Bitcoin in your hand, you can't print it out. It lives entirely online, and it's all created and kept safe by computer code and some pretty serious math, not by a big bank or a government. And this right here, this is the fundamental shift. With the money we use every day, we're trusting people and institutions, banks, governments, you name it. With crypto, you're not trusting people. You're trusting technology. You're trusting math that anyone can check. You don't need to ask for permission to send or receive it, and it doesn't care about borders. You can send it across the world in a flash. It really is money that's native to the internet. Okay, but that brings up a huge question, right? If there's no bank in the middle, who's keeping track of everything? I mean, what stops me from just spending the same digital dollar twice? How is it not just total chaos? Well, the answer is the absolutely brilliant technology that makes this all possible. And that answer is the blockchain. This is the magic ingredient. It's the engine that makes the whole thing run. Think of it like this. Blockchain is like a public digital notebook, a record book that everyone can see. Every time a transaction happens, say I send you some crypto, it gets written down in this notebook as a block. Then, that block is mathematically chained to the one before it. Now, here's the clever part. This notebook isn't in one place. It's copied across thousands of computers all over the world. So if someone wanted to cheat and change a transaction, they wouldn't just have to change it on their computer, they'd have to change it on thousands of computers all at the exact same time and rewrite the entire chain after it. It's pretty much impossible. Here's the best way to think about it. And for a lot of people, this is the aha moment. A bank's ledger, that's like a private Excel spreadsheet. Only they can see it, only they can change it. But the blockchain, that's like a public Google sheet. Everyone can look at it. Everyone can see the history. It's a system built on total radical transparency. Okay, so we've got the what and the how. But that brings us to maybe the most important question of all. Why? Why does this even exist? And what on earth gives a bunch of digital code any real-world value? Well, the story really kicks off back in 2008. The world was going through a massive financial crisis, and for a lot of people, trust in the big banks just evaporated. So, in 2009, a mysterious person or group called Satoshi Nakamoto created Bitcoin. And the goal wasn't just to invent some new tech toy, it was designed as a totally separate alternative financial system. A system where you, the individual, are in complete control, and the rules are out in the open for everyone to see. And today, for millions of people, especially in places with shaky economies, it's become a way to have real financial freedom. So what gives it value today? Well, it's a mix of a few things. You've got basic supply and demand, just like with gold or anything else. Then there's the fact that many of them have a limited fixed quantity. It also comes from its real-world usefulness, the problems the technology can actually solve. And ultimately, it all comes down to the trust that millions of people put in the network itself. And if you want to understand scarcity, just look at Bitcoin. There will only ever be 21 million, period. It's written right into the code. That's it. Think about that. Governments can print more of their currency whenever they want, which can lead to inflation. But Bitcoin, it has a hard cap. You can't just make more of it. All right, let's get down to brass tacks. Let's talk about investing. And this is where we really need to separate the crazy hype you see online from the cold, hard reality. So generally, people approach this in a few ways. First, there's buying and holding. You believe in a project, you buy some, and you play the long game. That takes a lot of patience. Second, you have short-term trading, trying to buy low and sell high quickly. Honestly, this is where most beginners get burned. And third, there's actually using the stuff in the growing world of DeFi, which is like a new financial system being built on crypto, or things like NFTs, which are unique digital items. Look, if you take away just one thing from this part, make it this. Crypto rewards knowledge. It does not reward emotions. The market is absolutely ruthless when it comes to punishing impulsive decisions that are driven by the fear of missing out or just plain greed. And let's be brutally honest about the risks, okay? The prices are incredibly volatile. They can shoot up or crash down in a matter of hours. Scams are everywhere, and some of them are incredibly clever. You've got influencers getting paid to pump up projects that are completely worthless. And when hype takes over, logic just gets thrown right out the window. So here's the bottom line. Is crypto dangerous? No. The technology is just a tool. What's dangerous is ignorance. Jumping into something you don't understand, well, that's just a recipe for a very expensive lesson. So where does all this go from here? You know, with all the volatility and all the risks, it's easy to wonder. But one thing seems pretty clear. This technology, it's not just disappearing. It's evolving. And we're already seeing it happen. Look around. The very same banks that used to dismiss it are now adopting blockchain technology. Governments all over the world are looking into creating their own digital currencies. And you have some of the biggest companies on the planet building for what's being called Web 3, the next evolution of the internet, built on these decentralized ideas. And you know what? You don't need a crystal ball. This isn't about trying to predict the future or guess which coin is going to the moon. The real power, the real asset, is just understanding what's happening right now, in the present. And that really brings us to the final and maybe most important takeaway. In a world that's becoming more digital by the second, the biggest risk isn't deciding to buy crypto or not to buy it. No. The biggest risk is just choosing to be ignorant about it. Choosing to ignore this massive technological and financial shift that's happening right in front of us. Learning how this works, it's not really optional anymore. It's becoming essential.